Buenos dias, señores and señoritas. Hey, YouTube. It's hot. It's 7:30 on Monday evening, the 29th, and it's hot. It's been hot here since May. I think we almost hit 60 days of 90 plus on the thermometer. I think we got 2 days of 88, and we're back in 90 plus. They're calling for 88 to 92 degrees into 2 weeks into September, so it's been hot, it's been humid, we've had some rain, had plenty of whitefly, as you can see, hornworm damage, searing heat, dry heat, humid heat, wet, raining for 30 minutes and then sauna heat. But still got tomatoes. They're not the prettiest tomatoes, but they are making new stuff. And I think a lot of this growth and continued production is due to one thing. That's being vigilant at growing your garden. But another thing is hydroponics. In this heat, these plants have continued to make. You can see there's still fruit there, still fruit all in these plants. Yeah, it's not the big early summer rush of fruit, but you start looking around, there's still a lot of fruit in these plants. These are hybrid bush beefsteak plants right here, and this on this side were bush big boy, and they did not stay a bush at all, but they did make a lot of tomatoes, and they're continuing to make tomatoes despite the heat, the bugs, caterpillars. Fought and fought with whitefly. They did their best damage out on the Back to Eden garden plants, the garden beds. They're back to Eden manure with compost on top, with more manure on top, with more compost, and then wood chips. Those Rutgers have about made their last. Whitefly, hornworms. We'll say this: the soil grown garden compost soil, whatever grown, was a lot more work than these hydroponic plants were. What I'm going to try to do, I don't know if I'm going to leave this sucker here and that sucker on those plants, see if I can't cut the top out of the plant, regrow. Like I said, they're calling for heat all the way to September. And in this Dutch bucket system, I'm thinking, can I cut the plant out, get out most of the root ball, which tomatoes are shallow rooted plants, and reuse this perlite. I've got some plants inside that I've started under a shop light. There are these right here, bush beefsteak, and some seeds out of these plants here. This year I ran Master Blend nutrients, and I think that's why I haven't had any trouble with them. I don't even think I've really checked pH. I get 7.2 city water, and I mean, you're looking at plants that have hardly had pH adjustment. I mean, I wasn't having deficiencies or any problems, because that city water, you're gonna run it. You can turn it on and run it for 30 minutes. It's gonna evaporate the chlorine out. That's a tip I got from my good buddy Brian Pruitt. He told me to not worry about that, and I haven't. And if you watch other Dutch bucket videos online, like Bobby at MHP, he said he never dealt with pH. He was running well water and whatever. I think you can overthink this. This has got to have three things. It's got to have water flow and food in it and sunlight. And then, of course, you got to trellis them and deal with the bugs. But if you've got food, light, and water, you're going to be able to do it. So, I mixed this Master Blend straight in. I fed her between 800 and 1,000 parts per million this year. and that was getting me down to 6.0 to 6.2 on the pH. If I got it a little hotter, it'd be in the 5s, you know. But these plants have done well. These are celebrities here. They've given me quite a bit. They've made on through the heat. Real nice plants. They've given me a bunch of tomatoes, and they're still making. I mean, this. If you look at my plants, the lower halves here, you can see all the trimmed off. I mean, there's even an old tomato there, but you know, I had all this first part of the summer harvested off of these plants. This was a Cherokee Purple here, and it's a goner. It's just too much heat for it to make anything. That heirloom plant can't handle it. But yeah, I mean, all these tomatoes here were just covered up. They're like that on all the plants. Anything below the last fruit on the plant, or the first fruit, I don't know how you're looking at it, your lowest fruit, I take off anyways, but a lot of that there was fruits, trusses, and plenty of tomatoes. So this has been a pretty good year this year. You can see they're back all up in here, tomatoes. I'm pretty happy with what, you know, and like I said, I didn't have to stay after it. Now there's a Supersonic. That was a hybrid. Let's plant. Supersonic hybrids out there underneath the canopy that had a big limb fall right through it. Plus the sun put the kibosh on it with the not being UV treated. I knew it was going to do that. And for $10 to cover it up this summer, I wasn't worried. It got me my harvest. Now it's busted and it's grown out. But like I said, anyways, this Dutch bucket, this is just horticultural perlite. Get it at your feed stores, hobby stores, like hydroponic stores. You might even find it at Walmart. Home Depot, if you do, you're going to pay a lot more for it. I suggest the feed store. And it does get some algae in it. Mostly that came from when I had to feed at the stem right here when it was I first transplanted my plants, because the shallow root feeders and their roots didn't get all the way to the bottom yet. So once I got that going, I'm not real worried with that algae in there. It's not hadn't set the plants back at all. I mean, maybe would have I gotten more, I'd have had more than I could eat and give away. So yeah, but like I said, gonna try to reuse this, cut it and get most of it out, put some transplants in there. I've got about a dozen plants in there, and then if I can get it to go again, I'll get some more out here up until the first frost, probably mid and late November. And I'm gonna try to run a 4-bucket system like this. Probably use this section, set it in there in the center row of the greenhouse, have a winter grow in there, got a little heater, got a little aquarium tank, heater also to keep it the temperature right on the water. It should be able to grow. But as you can see, there's birds and bugs still beating on everything, but still got some nice tomatoes. There's still tomatoes all back in there. But that's gonna be about it, guys. I got to get inside before I need a blood transfusion from all the blood loss from mosquitoes. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. Still making tomatoes. I'll let these guys try to make a few more, and then I might try a set out here, and hopefully it'll turn out well. Thanks for watching.